Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toe Talk Podcast. This is episode 15, and we are just recording this just a few days after we just literally recorded episode 14, literally a few days after, but just due to scheduling conflicts and work stuff and just so much game stuff over the weekend at Summer Game Fest weekend, we just had to kind of push it back. But we are back again, and another opportunity for you all to check us out. Once again, we have a lot of games, one movie, and lots of sports to cover this week. But as usual, thank you all for listening in each week and checking us out wherever you do listen to us, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. And we have been counting up all of your entries for the giveaway for Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch 2. And actually, well, we'll get to that in just a second, but just to bring everybody in, we have the original podcast, the table here, the panel here as usual. We have Raji is with us once again.
Oh, what's up?
And we also have Zazarus is here once again.
That sounded a lot like Raji, so that kind of scared me a little bit. But yeah, hey, what's going on, everyone?
Hello, hello. Okay, that is our intro. So we're going to go right into game giveaway details, as you all know. And we've been watching all of your giveaway posts in the comments to enter for each time for a new raffle entry for Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch 2. And for the more details on that, I will pass it over to Raji to let you know what the update is on that.
Yeah, so giveaway winner will be announced. I believe I said on the 28th or it was the 21st. I can't remember off the top of my head, so I apologize for that. But yeah, it's giving away a copy of Star Fox on the Switch 2. You can go back to all of our older videos from where we started this and comment to get an entry. And this week's keyword is simply McCloud.
McCloud. Okay. MC and then Cloud. Hashtag MC and then Cloud, as in his last name.
Yes.
All right. So enter in. That's another chance for you all to enter in, get another raffle entry in. And the giveaway will either be next week or in 2 weeks. We'll clarify that. But just keep on entering and they will accumulate regardless of whether you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. You can drop those comments on all three services and they will all count as an extra entry. So keep that in mind. And
28th in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, because the release date's 25th, and I told myself I'd do the podcast after release. So the 28th, 2 weeks from tonight.
All right, you have 2 more podcasts. All right. No, it'd technically be 1, right?
One more before we find out the winner.
Okay. You have this one and one more to get your raffle entries in. So tune in next week as well to get in. And then in 2 weeks, we will announce the winner. Keep your eyes and your ears peeled, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But with that being said, we're going to move on to bring your own news section, as we always do. And I guess I will go first. And today is a very special day. This is Sunday, June 14th. And there's a lot going on today in terms of America. So I just want to drop a little special shout out to all of my fellow Americans out there. First of all, today, June 14th, is the 251st birthday of the U.S. Army. That's really awesome. It goes way, 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 way back. I'm looking at an image here where you see like people in the colonial outfit to the Civil War to World War I to World War II and then current day. So congratulations, U.S. Army, 251 years. I know at least one. I know there's many, but the first one that comes to my mind is Hype, community member Hype 911 2004, who is an Army serviceman. So I know he's really proud today. And thank you to all of our military and armed forces for doing what you do. We really appreciate you here on the podcast and support you, my brothers and sisters out there. But also we have today is also, I know we don't touch into politics on this podcast, which we don't, but I just also wanted to make a special mention. It only comes around once a year, but our current sitting U.S. President Donald J. Trump, today is also his 80th birthday as president. So happy birthday to Donald Trump, regardless if you do not like him or you do like him, we don't get into that here, but it is his birthday and he's a human being at the end of the day. So just want to drop a shout out to him on his birthday today. And then also today, and this is my last one, we do have the official UFC Freedom 250 taking place here in a mere hour or so, taking place straight from the White House. So that should be interesting. I know a lot of people are going to be watching that just to see what happens. And I guess there's going to be like a lot of special guests in the house to check it out. So I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe we'll cover the happenings on next week's podcast after what happens here in a little bit. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening today. So yeah, happy birthday to everyone involved. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll send it over to Raji. Or I guess we'll send it over to Grem because Raji's not there.
I was muted for my bad. Professional.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, pretty much.
I was sitting here just talking until I got interrupted. I was like, wait, what? And I looked over like, oh, I'm muted. Whoops. Anyways, what I was saying, I'm bringing to the table everything about Steam. And if we all know, tomorrow is the start of the week-long Steam Next Fest, which is one of the best ways for developers, big or small, to get their games out there for their demos to be shown. But this Steam Next Fest in particular has ballooned so big that there is a total of 4,931 demos being to be a part of the Steam Next Fest. And to put that in perspective, only 3,200 demos were a part of earlier this year's Steam Next Fest back in February. This is the second of three of Next Fest that we get this year. But that's not everything that they decided to give us. They went ahead and announced the dates, which I don't think Steam's ever done this. If they have, correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize. But they've already told us the dates of all of our sales and a couple of other events going on, such as the Steam Summer Sale will kick off on June 25th and run through July 9th. And then if you're a fan of trains, you choo-choo fans, Train Fest starts July 20th. Cyberpunk Fest will be happening later this year. The Autumn Sale will run for 1 week starting October 1st. And then the Steam Winter Sale is scheduled to start on December 17th. So Steam giving us the dates ahead of time instead of us sitting here having the data mine and guess when we get to raid our wallets like we love doing every year.
That's really cool. I have a personal invested interest in Steam Next Fest. I played a lot of the games on the earlier one this year, and it's always a treat to have game developers come by the Twitch channel when I'm doing my live stream and ask me to play their games, which we'll get to in just a second, actually. But I always love when Steam Next Fest rolls around. It gives me a chance to play a lot of really awesome demos out there that I get to look forwards to that don't quite make that AAA billing or you see on Summer Game Fest or anything like that. And a lot of really low-key, under-the-radar games out there that end up actually being some of my favorites to play. So I really enjoy every time Steam Next Fest rolls around.
Another perspective is the only way to experience everything on this Next Fest is you would have to not sleep for a week and try to figure a way to complete a game demo once every 122 seconds.
Wow. That is a lot of games. That's for sure. All right, Grem, what are you bringing to the table this week?
I seem to be like the person that brings food to the table. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm also bringing some food items that maybe people have missed out on. I will be trying this one next week, but now that we found it. But Oreo is collabing with BTS, and they're introducing a purple vanilla wafer that has brown sugar pancake flavored cream. And I like brown sugar like Pop-Tarts, so I never really thought like to add that to like a pancake. So I'd be really intrigued to see, or I guess taste, on how good that is. And then I know last podcast we were talking a little bit about He-Man. I did not realize that Denny has like a He-Man promotion menu in the works as well. I had no earthly idea. It ranges from like the He-Man Battle Burger to Eternia's Premium Breakfast Slam, which looks really good. Junior Grayskull's Epic Crackle Cakes, and then the Skeletor Dark Shakeverse. So it's kind of cool, actually. I haven't been to a Denny's. Gosh, it's been what, at least like 4 years since the last time I went to a Denny's. So just check those out. At least if you're a Denny's fan. But I'll let everyone know about the Oreo one next week.
Yes, please let us know and try to go to a Denny's so that we can hear about the rest of it as well.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, that being said, that was our news for this week. Seems like we just did this like a few hours ago. Jeez.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, we're gonna move into our gaming block, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 games to cover, but hopefully it'll go quick. There's just a lot of games that really hit close to me as of the last couple of days that I'd like to bring to the podcast here. Our first game up is going to be, and this is going to be kind of an emphasis on indie games, going into the point of what Raji said about Steam Next Fest rolling around starting tomorrow. But I'll get into the story as to why I wanted to bring this to the podcast after we watch the trailer. But this first game up is called Void Fighters, and it's developed by Dorgaz. You can get it right now. It's been out for a couple of months now. But yeah, we'll watch the trailer here real quick, and then I'll go into the reason why I wanted to bring it to the podcast. You died to end the trailer of. Okay, so that was called Void Fighters, developed by Dorgaz. And the reason why I wanted to bring this trailer to the podcast as the first game on our list is because Dorgaz himself came to my Twitch live stream last night on my live stream and asked if I could play the game because Steam Next Fest is rolling around tomorrow. And I said sure. And what made it even better than me just simply playing his game after he gave me a key for it was the fact that I actually played the game with him and was able to play alongside the developer of the game, which was really cool. We spent about an hour in the game. The game is a third person, kind of like a beat 'em up kind of game where you get to select through 3 to 5 different class members with each with different kind of attack types. There's like a mage, there's like a beat 'em up robot guy, there's all kinds of different stuff. There's even actually a warthog you can play as, which the developer Gorgaz played as. After I said, I wonder what the warthog it plays as, and he switched to that character, and it was really fun to see just like a pig running around attacking enemies. So basically, you're just going from portal to portal. After you complete a level, it'll say like level complete. All enemies have been complete. All enemies have been defeated. And then you go to the exit portal, and it just takes you to another menu where you can choose one out of 3 portals, and it just keeps going you level to level to level. Basically, kind of like a roguelike kind of sense where you just keep going until you die. Obviously, if one person does drop, you can revive the other one. There's power-ups, there's abilities that stick with your character as well as you progress through the game. You can play it single player, you can play it co-op, and there's actually also a PvP mode with the different characters you can select. There's unlockables so that you can like continue playing to unlock different stuff and cosmetics and stuff like that in the game as well. And just on top of that, Dorgaz ended up being a really nice person. So I just wanted to drop a little bit of shout out here for the game, for Dorgaz, and for his Void Fighters game here. Obviously, I did play it. The video should be up on my YouTube now by the time you are listening to the podcast here. If you'd like to check out my playthrough of it, playing with the developer, but you can check it out on Steam under the name Void Fighters. I believe this is their first developed game they've ever done before. And so I always really enjoy, I find myself really trying to support indie game devs and trying to get their foot off the ground, because that's something that I would inevitably like to end up eventually doing myself, is starting to develop my own games. So whatever I can do to help, people that are brand new to it and just designing games, or maybe this is like their first major project that they want to actually produce and put out to the public, I'm all game for that. Whatever I can do on my platform to help promote and get the game out there, I'm all for it. And that's why that goes hand in hand with like the Steam Next Fest thing that we just talked about. And yeah, also why I wanted to talk about Void Fighters. But Raji, what are your thoughts on Void Fighters? Do you play a lot of Steam Next Fest demos yourself? Have you ever had any experience, any developers coming to your channel or reaching out to you to play your game or anything like that? And how do you feel about independent games in general?
Actually, my first Nexus Fest, I caught the tail end of it, was the one back in February, and played a bunch of simulator games that really piqued my interest. I think you have a video on your channel for GameStonk Simulator, I think it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was part of Next Fest back in February, and just a bunch of other ones. And it's just, I think this is a great way to get games out to the niche audience that they are aiming for, because that's when people start looking for games the most, is these special events, especially when you're that's all they're advertising on Steam, is these demos. Otherwise they wouldn't be found. So this is a great way. I think it's great. This game in particular looks like it could be a lot of fun. It's got the great procedurally generated, from what it looks like, levels, and be able to level up, or pick perks at the end of each level. So it reminds me a lot of games you can find on mobile, the kind of the same concept, but this one's actually 3D instead of top down. So looks interesting, and I'd definitely give it a try.
All right, Grem. I think by the time I got around to playing this with Dorgaz last night, you had already left the live stream, so you might have missed this. But seeing this trailer here in description of it, what are your thoughts on the game? And same question goes to you. How do you feel about independent games? And I'm sure there are some indie games out there that aren't quite AAA game titles that could be some really games that you find yourself playing and going to.
Well, yeah, to answer, I guess, what you said first, sadly I did. I kind of wish I didn't. And you had mentioned too, this is the first time you've actually played with a developer on there, like with their game. Is that right?
Well, we've had on commentary before. We've had Uper Games, and I've had other game developers in chat talking me through the game, like Room 7, Floor 713, I believe it was. But yeah, nevertheless, I've had developers in my chat watching me while I play their games before. But in terms of actually going head to head, and I don't think even in Super Poly Battle Cars we even played with Uper in the game. I think it was just us. So yeah, I believe, to answer your question, yes, a long way around to get to it. I think, yeah, this is the first time I've actually played a game with the developer himself in their own game.
So I think that's really cool, and I hope that maybe developers down the line will, not only just with you, but in general, actually join in on the fun. I know when Peak was coming out, a lot of them, like the developers and stuff, were actually talking like as Bing Bong. So in a way, they weren't playing, but they were still part of the game. Little interactions like that where you kind of form a community. I think it's very strong for independent developers and new development teams to kind of get that base going. So that this way, just because this game might not be their best game that they ever going to make, at least you kind of have like, hey, I remember the developers of what they did last time. I really wish I didn't miss this too, because this looks really fun. I love the fact that there's a solo and a team option. I also noticed too, which was kind of neat, a lot of the people having like with weapons, they have like an idle-ish animation to their weapon, so it's not like they're just holding the weapon. There was one of them that had like a pistol in his left hand and a dagger in his other, and he was constantly like not constantly, but like switching it so that the dagger was now like kind of parallel with his forearm rather than like sticking out like a normal would. I think it's a minor little detail that a lot of games don't do, is like they keep it static, like you're holding onto the weapon and that's it. You're just holding it like that. I did notice that, so I think that's a nice little touch. So they do have a little like, I mean, a lot of love for this game. It looks like, and like I said, I wish I didn't miss it because this looks really really fun.
The co-op aspect was really fun as well. I was originally just gonna play solo, but he was like, go to the looking for members portal thing, and then he just popped right into my game and joined my lobby. And so we played through a bunch of different levels. I played as the guy with the blue and black guy with the robot claws at first. Then I tried the alchemist looking guy towards the end, the green and black character guy with the fire in the electric power up, and I was really doing some damage there. And then we got far enough where we tried a few bonus portals as well, where we just try to mix it up and show just a little bit of everything. And then we ended up fighting a boss, which was basically a duplicate version of the character that I had selected. So it almost brought like Zelda versus Link versus Dark Link vibes there for a minute, because it was like a me versus my own character with him also helping. And then we faced like the giant final in-game boss, which is a giant zombie, and it just like absolutely wrecked us, like playing Cromrex from Borderlands. So there's definitely a difficulty spike. There's definitely it goes definitely from easy all the way up to like, holy crap, we're never going to be able to beat this thing, or maybe puts emphasis on a little bit more co-op to be able to get that far through the run. But nevertheless, it was a lot of fun. Shout out to Dorgaz for coming to my Twitch channel last night and asking if I could play the game. And yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. And again, you can find that content and that playthrough up on my YouTube at Croakitoad, and check that out. And also, please drop a wish list, in the very least, to Void Fighters on Steam to help support another awesome indie game developer on their first project they've done on Steam. All right, that being said, we're going to move on to our next game. And this trailer came out a little bit ago, June 6th, so about a week or so ago. And just the name alone caught my interest of this, and we didn't fit it in on the last episode because we had so many other games to talk about, but we're going to throw it on here. I've not seen this trailer myself yet, so this is a first time view for me, but this one is called Shark Dentist. Jesus. Well, that escalated quickly. I thought starting off it was just going to be a simple game, kind of like a simulator where you've got the shark here in front of you. It's sedated. So you're like you're just being a friendly neighborhood zoologist or biologist, whatever. And you're just trying to like remove these cavities and these growths from inside the shark's mouth and fix and repair its teeth so you can send it back out into the water to live its happiest days. But then lots of things escalated there towards the end. You open a crate, go down in there, there's dead bodies down there, and then it turns into like more like a horror demonic game. So I don't know, that threw me off. I don't know. I kind of liked the beginning part where it was just simply like you're just trying to work the teeth of the shark, and I was just waiting for like the shark to, I'm sure anyone that watches this trailer is just waiting for the shark to clamp down on this person while they're doing this, because that's like the biggest, herring of the entire thing. But that never happens. But I don't know. I don't, maybe I just have to play the game, but I'm not really sure what the thing is with like the demonic stuff and the fireballs and stuff down in the vent. I kind of just like the beginning part, the first half of the trailer, where it's like mostly emphasis on working on the teeth and repairing and fixing, and then send the shark out on its happiest days. But that's just me. Maybe I just need to play it. Raji, what are your thoughts on Shark Dentist?
Well, I'm a sucker for simulator games, and that's what that first part of that trailer sold me with. And then it just got weird. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be interested in this or not. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's got an appeal to it. I might try it. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Yeah. I mean, with a name like Shark Dentist, that immediately got my attention. I saw this last week, but hadn't had a chance to check it out. But yeah, very interesting. Like, it just starts off as one game, and then it just like completely turns into a completely different game by the time you get to the end of the trailer. Graham, what are your thoughts? Are you like us? Do you agree the first half of the trailer just looks a little bit more appealing, or maybe we just have to, one of us just needs to actually play the game, and then we'll understand the latter half of the trailer, what the story is trying to tell here?
Yeah, though I'm not really a huge fan of dentistry or anything of that nature, I think the why you said like we were expecting the shark to eat and whatnot. In the video, it does show like there's a timer with the sedation, and if you're not probably paying attention, and if that runs out, then the shark wakes up maybe. Other than that, it reminds me of the games where you're like, it was like I'm trying to remember what it was, where like it's actually like you're pulling teeth from the shark or something, and then like if you pull the wrong one, it snaps down. So I guess it's kind of like a little spin on that. The second half reminded me a bit of like, what's that one game that just recently got into a movie we talked about. I'm trying to remember what the game of it is, where it's the morgue.
Oh, Mortuary Assistant.
There we go. Yeah, it reminds me of that a little bit, where you're doing the mortuary stuff, but there's something like more darker and sinister that's going on. Like, and jump scare and everything of that nature. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I think it would have been better if it was just being a dentist.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a certain appeal to, and you don't really see a game quite like this where you have this giant open mouth shark with all these teeth, and you're just there to like, because I'm sure in some capacity, people in real life actually have to do this. Like maybe at a zoo or something, they have to fix cavities or fix a shark's tooth, so they have to sedate it, put it under so they can operate and remove cysts or bacteria or infections or whatever. There's just something really intriguing about that in a video game portrayal like this that I think would have really stuck had they just stuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we'll certainly keep our eyes on this. Shark Dentist, just the name alone, as I said, the game title alone caught my interest, and we'll see how this one goes. Moving on, our third game, and we're going from Shark Dental to a very cozy game that I actually have a personal experience with. And I played this actually, the demo of this actually last night. So I actually have a little bit of depth to add to this. But this one is called Papaya Plaza. And this is a trailer from May 29th. So a few weeks ago. Let's take a look. All right, that was called Papaya Plaza. You can wishlist it today on Steam. And again, this was another game I played last night on my Twitch live stream. I played the demo. Lots of fun. It's basically like a very pixel, like a Super Nintendo looking Animal Crossing top down side. I guess it's more of a top down retro pixel look where you can build your own village, your own town, how you want. You can tear things down, you can remove things, you can plant trees, put in buildings, put in businesses, and basically design your little island the way that you wish. Very Animal Crossing esque, but in a pixel visual sense. You get these villagers that come in randomly each night you go to sleep, and they range from all kinds of different animals, from a jack-o'-lantern to a mouse to a little cheap bird. They call it angry bird, screams at you a lot. And I was waiting for the frog to show up in the demo. It never did, but notice on the Steam store page, there is a frog with a little leaf growing out of the top of his head. So I am 100% all in on that. I was just getting so much cozy vibes from this. The missions you get from each of the villagers are never really that hard. Maybe that's just because I just started the game and it was in the demo, but I'm sure it may get a little bit more challenging as you progress. But this was super fun, very cozy. All the different businesses, the house types you can do. You can build paths, fences, flower gardens, basically customize the island however you want. I didn't notice a terrain option. There might have been, but I just can't remember. Maybe that'll be released in the full game where you can kind of like, again, like Animal Crossing, where you can kind of like dig trenches and waterways and mountains and paths that go up and down. Not really sure if that's a feature. But you can certainly build fences and like sidewalks and put all kinds of different houses, businesses, structures, trees, flowers, and just basically design it the way you want to design it. And the villagers will eventually come in each night on their own, and then you can assign them to whatever job you want. Like you can put whoever you want to work at the juice bar each day, or work at the school as a school teacher, or the milkshake shop. The choice is complete yours, and you just get income and capitalism each day. And then when you go to sleep the next day, the money goes into your account so that you can continue building and upgrading things as you wish and as you go. I really enjoyed this. Just the overall aesthetic, the music, the characters were all really cute and cozy. I had a really fun time with this, and I immediately wishlisted this. I cannot wait to play the full game of this. And this was just really I don't know. I played a lot of really kind of like, I don't want to say like scary games, but kind of just like middle of the road, average horror games that I usually play. And then having this thrown in there and right in the middle was a really nice breath of fresh air. So I guess I just desperately needed something like this cozy to enter into my stream last night. But it certainly hit the spot, is what I'm trying to say. But Raji, what are your thoughts on Papaya Plaza? Does this appeal to you at all? Do you like games like this where you can build your own village and customize, and you get the citizens that arrive randomly and you can assign them, and then you can just like design your island however you want?
Go back to 5 seconds to that trailer. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's pretty cozy, I guess. Great like that was one thing I was missing from Animal Crossing. It was just, call me what you want, but I like when games kind of hold my hand in a way, instead of like Animal Crossing. It's like, here you go, and then you're just like, well, what do I need to do, or what should I do? Like I'm a person that needs you don't have to hold my hand all the way. Just give me a direction to follow, and I will figure it out. So having a task list and things to do is something that will make this game more enjoyable. I do love Animal Crossing, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just always been missing that slight direction to give you. That way you're always doing something productive on a daily basis. But yeah, this looks really cozy. I like the art style. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I really enjoyed the task list feature too, because it always gives you something to work towards and to try to complete, rather than with Animal Crossing, it just drops you on the island and then here you go, do what you want. and you're just basically trying to build your star rating up on your island, and but doesn't really tell you how or the best ways to go about it. With this game in Papaya Plaza, it gives you specific tasks like collect 5 lemons, collect 5 flowers, build a house, tear down this broken down house, and put in a juice bar instead. And then you report back to the citizen that wanted you to do this quest, and then it counts as a quest completion, and then they'll give you another quest to do on the island. I really like that. I'm glad you brought that up. And so that was really fun. And I got to the point where in the demo, I only had one left, where I only like collect like 2 lemons left, but I just didn't want to like sleep and go to the next day again. Because I knew that was, oh no, the demo ended on me anyway, because I had leveled my island up to, I believe, star level 2. So the demo ended anyway. But yeah, I had only one task left in the demo to do, which was just collect two more of the 5 lemons. But yeah, that very direction, maybe not a little bit handholdy, like as you said, but not like telling you exactly how to play the experience. You still have the freedom to be able to kind of do what you want, but there is an overall task list that you can do to guide your way, and I really liked that part about the game as well. Grim, what are your thoughts on Papaya Plaza? I think you were there while I was doing this one live last night. What are your overall thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit. You were right on just on how cozy it looks. I did kind of have a question though, because I don't remember seeing. Do you remember how many nights that your character did sleep? Was it like more than like 6 or 7 or 8 nights?
I don't think it was 8 nights. I think I allowed the game to go by maybe
Okay.
4 or 5 nights, and then by that time I had built my island up to star level 2 and the demo ended.
Because I was curious on like because you guys were bringing up Animal Crossing, and one of the things that I don't want to say dislike, but I thought was really difficult was when it came to the island, you can only have X amount of villagers, and I'm curious on if this game will allow you to keep everyone that visits your town here, and you have more jobs than just what we saw here in the trailer. I think there was like 6 of them or something, so that's why I kind of was going by that number. Uh, and the customization, like you create it how you want, and coloring and everything too. This game looks really really good. I love the style. I love how it feels very 8-bit. Things like that are it's just it like you said, it's very cozy, and it does hold your hand, which I'm glad again that Raji brought that up, because that's a good point. Like Animal Crossing was just like, here you go, and now it's like, here we'll help you, because it's supposed to be cozy. You're supposed to have fun. You can still play it the way you want to play. You don't have to do the task list if you don't want to, but we recommend at least you have a direction. At least if you're bored, not sure what to do, or just want to kind of just be a little lazy, here, do this, and then this will happen. So I thought it was kind of sad too. At one of the points of the trailer, that you're sleeping in the middle of the street when it's raining. I felt so bad for the little kitten. So it looks like too you can pretty much connect with the people that are part of the town. I'm imagining though you have to stay as the cat though. Is that right?
I didn't see an option to switch characters. Now, whether or not that's going to be an option in the full game release or not, I don't really know. But the time that I spent playing the demo, I played as the singular character. Yeah, and to also tackle your other question, I was able to get up to at least 8 people in my village before the demo ended.
Okay, so I mean, again, that doesn't mean you're like, okay, well, I'm sorry, I have to get rid of so and so. It seems like you can hang on to them, and you can build more of a, I guess, relationship with those characters too. And then if you hate someone, you're like, all right, I'm gonna make them work the whatever, like the worst part, worst job or something like that. Things like that. Whereas, in Animal Crossing, it was just, well, it's these 6 and that's it. I mean, anyone else that comes through, you have to make the tough choice. And with a cozy game like that, why throw in tough choices like that? You should just make it fun, easy, and just stress free.
Yeah, personally experienced with Animal Crossing, making an all frog village island on on my game. I never looked back again once I got all frog villagers. But again, like you said, I always wanted to just get every frog and have them on my island, but of course they have a restriction as to how many you can have. Maybe with this more like pixel version of the game, what the technology will be allowed for like way more villagers because of that. But I don't really know, and maybe they'll release that on the full game release. Okay, but that was Papaya Plaza. Be sure to check that out on Steam. You can play the demo now, and you can obviously wishlist it. The real quick, the synopsis is: Welcome, Mayor, to Papaya Plaza. The old tourist town isn't what it used to be, but it's up to you to rebuild. Draw back the villagers, the beeps, and bring the community together again. Papaya Plaza is a snackable slice of life game for you to get lost in. Decorate and improve the town as you see fit to make a perfect little spot for visitors to wonder and enjoy. These beeps aren't picky. They just want to discover the next best kept secret. And developed by Biscuit Factory Games. Really enjoyed this one. Can't wait to play the full game. All right, moving on to yet another cozy game. And this is another game that I literally played last night. This is the first game I did on my stream. And this was a really fun one. A very short trailer here. We'll check this one out and then we'll get into it. They showed the Gorilla Adventure Country cartridge. Nice. I was wondering about that one. But yeah, this is called Cozy Game Restoration. You can play the demo now on Steam. I played it last night. Lots of fun. You could reset the day to keep playing, but I did, I believe, like 4 or 5 different cartridges before I ended the demo, which you can find on my YouTube under Croakitoad. You can find the full playthrough of that from last night. The synopsis is: don't miss the teaser trailer for Cozy Game Restoration, a physical video games restoration simulation game developed by Parasol Corp. Players will gently use a variety of tools and skills to clean video game cartridges from a bygone era, peel stickers, clean away grime, and restore cherished video games to a new glory. Cozy Game Restoration is coming soon to PC. This was a lot of fun. As soon as I saw this game pop up in my recommended, and I believe Raji granted me access to early access as well, I knew I wanted to play this one. There's a reason why I started with this one first, just because the thought of doing this sounded really fun. I mean, as gamers, pretty much all of us have had, in some time or another, had old school video game cartridges like this in our lives, whether it be NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Genesis, Game Boy, whatever, where the the old discount stickers, whether it be a GameStop sticker or Funko Land sticker or KB Games or Toys R Us, whatever stickers are on there, and we've tried to peel them off and the adhesive stuck on there, and it's just annoying, and then it gets scratches on the cartridge, and maybe you come in possession of a used game at some point where someone else had markered on the cartridge, or just whatever. It's a terrible shape, and then this game allows you to clean these cartridges with a variety of different tools and repair them to their previous glory. This was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed this one. I'm a sucker for this because I come from that era of video game old school retro cartridges just like this. The little references to real life games were really tongue in cheek and pretty funny. Some of them more blatant than obvious than others, and I thought the only thing that I thought was kind of a little iffy was like some of the movement where you're like scratching the toothbrush on the cartridge to like clean the grime off. It didn't seem to work as perfectly as I would have liked for it to do in terms of like physics-based, just getting the objective done. And then the other thing I thought was maybe a kind of a drawback on it was I wish the 100%, because you get a little meter there that says how much progress you've made on the cartridge cleaning it. I wish that was a little bit more one-to-one as far as what is left on the cartridge, because I was getting like 100% and there were still like grime marks and adhesive marks and a little bit of scratches left on the cartridge, even though it says 100%. So I think Power Wash Simulator really nailed that on the head, where if you clean a certain amount, it just erases the rest of it and it just cleans it for you. I'm not necessarily asking for that in this game, but maybe a little bit more precise, careful progression bar for what you're trying to do here to clean it, because I was saying 100% and I was like, okay, well, I cleaned it, but then it still shows like some scuff marks and stuff on the cartridge. I'm like, what? That's not 100%. Don't do that to me. Maybe that's just a personal thing, but it just gives you kind of a sense of accomplishment when you don't see anything left and it looks like a brand new cartridge. So that would be the only thing. But overall, the game is really fun. I can't wait to try to pull the full game out. I don't believe there is currently a release date on this quite yet. Maybe I can be fact checked on that, but on the trailer it doesn't say anyway. But yeah, definitely played the demo. Check it out. Wishlisted on Steam. If you're in the mood for cleaning old school video game cartridges like this, I definitely recommend it. It's a really fun and cozy game, and especially when you get the rain weather in the background, you hear the rain dropping outside the room while you're cleaning the game, and there's just an aesthetic there that's just really fun. This is a game that I think anyone can enjoy. Raji, how do you feel about this? Does this look like something that you could find yourself playing? And yeah, what are your thoughts on cozy game restoration?
Well, as of 5 days ago, this game did get an official release date, and you won't believe when it's going to be.
Oh, okay. September?
Yep, September 24th, 2026.
Oh no.
Yep, I have played this. I was I think I applied for the playtest, got accepted, and was able to get 3 invites. I think I sent you one. I think I did. I can't remember who I sent them to, but I played this game, and just if you're looking for something just to pass time and turn your mind off and just listen to some chill music. I mean, it's got some pretty good music, pretty cool, cozy, lo-fi music itself. But if you're just looking for something to relax to and just take your mind off things and just clean something, this is the game for you. I would recommend it 100%. I love it. Can't wait for it to come out and buy it fully.
All right, and Grem, what are your thoughts on this? This is finally something that's not a horror game that I feel like you could definitely dive into.
Wow, yeah, I know, right? I'm kind of I'm kind of shocked. No, I actually watched you play this last night too. I remember when you brought out the hair, I guess it was a hair dryer, but the blower, and you were blowing away all like the peanuts and whatnot. Besides what you had with what you were saying about 100%, but yet the cartridge itself is not 100%. Maybe that should be worked on. Another thing too, and I know you kind of mentioned this early, was using like pliers to like needle pliers that you would use to take out a splinter in your finger to open up the box. I don't know if maybe this it's just like a placeholder, but you made a comment. I have never opened a package like this in my life. I don't know why I would think I would have to do it that way. So other than that, like it looks really, really fun. I like the spin on, classic old school games, but not really saying what those old school games were. I think there was one point there was a Pokemon game as well, or a Pokemon game, quote unquote. So, but I love, like you guys had mentioned, I love the background music. I love the rain. And again, like cozy games, like simulators like this should just have a cozy, laid back feel where you're just playing the game, and there's no stress level to it at all. You're just doing your thing, and you're just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying just the atmosphere of this. Because it's funny, because a lot of people don't, or not a lot of people, some people don't take care of the old school cartridges back in the day, and people don't realize just how much work it would have to be to make those look pretty much brand new. So that kind of sheds the light on how that is in the real world as well. So yeah, the game looks really, really great. I can't wait to play it as well. I'm definitely going to be following it as one of the many games in September that are coming out.
Yeah, that's for sure. September is absolutely stacked and loaded for sure. But this may be, you may kind of consider this more of like an indie game compared to all the other lineup of September games, but you can rest assured that this is definitely at the top of my list for September. I want to play through this, and I really hope that at some point, I've heard from game developers that trying to get a port onto a console, whether it be PlayStation or Xbox, is super expensive for game developers to do that, to like buy the license to get a game on console. But if this game ever does come to Xbox, I am 100%, no pun intended, going for all those achievements on this as well. But for now, I will definitely play this on Steam in September. Can't wait to try the full playthrough of this. All right, coming up next, this is a game that we kind of skipped on last podcast just because we had so many games to cover. But this franchise kind of hits home for a lot of people in the Croakitoad community. I'm not really a hardcore, diehard fan of this franchise, but I have played a lot of the different games, and there's one in particular that I really, really enjoy going back to. But yeah, they announced on the I believe this was on the I'm not actually really sure what show that they revealed this on, because it wasn't on, maybe it was on the Xbox, because I still haven't seen the full Xbox showcase. But yeah, they did announce a Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered over the weekend, among all the other stuff. This was on June 6th, but we'll take a look at this, and this is the first time I've seen this as well.
Never trust anyone and rely on your instincts. It's time to look sharp and concentrate. It's both easier and more difficult than you might imagine. Now, let's get this show running.
Okay, well, they didn't really give us a whole lot there. There's just an announcement with the Agent 47's voice there. Glad to see that the voice actor has returned, unless they're just reusing previous voice lines there. But glad to hear that. The classic music for the Hitman games. And this is Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered. I'm really interested in this. I think Coke told me earlier that it's going to be like Hitman 1, Hitman 2, and Hitman Blood Money as a trio of remastered games. I believe. I don't really know full on that.
It is not.
It is not. Okay, I was wrong.
It is. It's Codename 47, Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, Hitman Contracts.
Okay, so Hitman Contracts, from what I best know, is like it takes the best of like the first two games and gives them the best levels. So I don't know. It gets a little confusing when it comes to Hitman Contracts and the original games like that. But yeah, it's really confusing. I don't really know. Maybe I should just finally just play these so I have a better understanding.
It's literally. Let me just say this. I know not to get off the tangent, but just the way you're describing is exactly what the new game has done. So we had Hitman that released in chapters, then we had Hitman 2, and then Hitman 3. But then Hitman 3 turned into Hitman World of Assassination, which combined everything from all three games into one game. And it is so confusing because people who bought all these other games are like, well, shoot, I could have just waited until the third one came out, bought Hitman World of Assassination, didn't have to worry about wasting my money in the first two. It's weird. I don't know why they did it. I know yours is like a compilation of good levels for contracts, but I don't know. Hitman has had a history of doing weird stuff.
Yeah, I've never really understood, because they talk about Hitman World of Assassination, and now we're up to like 1, 2, and 3 now on that. And they did the same thing with Hitman Contracts, where like they took the best of the first two games and made its own game. And it really seems like the only two that I can remember that have been like just its own stable, just okay, this is a Hitman video game without taking all the best from anything else, has been Hitman Blood Money, which is my personal favorite game, and I know it like the back of my own hand. And then Hitman Absolution, which is but yeah, this is really interesting. The description says, watch the Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered trailer, upcoming trilogy that forged a Hitman legacy, rebuilt from the ground up. Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered will be available in 2027. Pay homage to the ruthless atmosphere and unparalleled agency of the original 3 Hitman games with returning and new features. So you can take that for what it's worth. The trailer doesn't really help like identify what is going on here. But yeah, I at least wanted to bring it to the podcast just as you know, just to talk about it. But do you have any further details about this, Raji, or are you just as confused as probably everybody else is about this?
So they did confirm our good friend Tim Willits, was part of that. I say good friend loosely.
Hey,
was a part of this
I got a
announcement.
picture with him at QuakeCon.
Dude, I mean, we were behind him in line at Starbucks, didn't even know it. I swear to God, I was trying to convince you it was him. You didn't believe me.
Yeah, that's true. True story. Yeah.
From what I'm reading, it's going to have features like faithfully restored visuals, experience the original trilogy with upgraded character models, enhanced environments, and high resolution textures. You'll have a photo mode, instant graphics toggle, which you can switch seamlessly between the original and enhanced visuals. I know what game did that. Does the Tomb Raider remasters do that where you can switch between graphics?
Yes.
What game did that?
Yeah, you can press the select button on the controller and it'll go from PS1 to current. Yeah.
I believe Halo also did that, correct?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
The Master Chief Collection, I think they did that as well.
Yep.
The world is your weapon, so now it's just basically describing the game that we're used to is use stealth tactics, disguises in the environment itself to infiltrate, execute, and escape. Master the art of the kill. 3 games, 1 evolution. Experience the progression of Hitman's design from one open-ended experimentation to refined stealth systems to a darker, more psychological tone. And then it says play your way. Disguise yourself, improvise solutions, and turn mistakes into opportunities. No 2 approaches are the same, and few plans survive unchanged. So this wasn't a part of any show. Saber Interactive and IO took it upon themselves and released the announcement trailer on their various channels. So this wasn't this wasn't anything that was part of the show. This was just them shoving it on social media and YouTube. Was like, here's our announcement.
Okay, well that makes sense why I didn't really hear much about it in terms of the main game shows. Then that makes sense. Okay, well, Grem, what are your thoughts on Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered, or did this whole conversation just kind of confuse you?
Well, as confusing as it is, very sneaky of them to just kind of like post it. I'll be honest with you, for a game like Hitman, I really wish I had gotten into it. I love these type of games where you have to really kind of think and plan ahead. So this for me, actually, I really, really am interested in this. I haven't really played any of a Hitman game at all, so I'm very tempted to actually pick this one up because, again, if it is kind of like, remastered of some of the older games, I definitely do want to give it a shot. Because, like I said, planning ahead, goofy little things like that, and thinking outside the box too. I've seen like videos on, using the banana peel to kill someone without it, triggering anything and everything like it. The game has so many different outcomes that you could do to actually complete the goal. So I'm kind of interested in this.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the Hitman games is you can basically there's no like one linear way to finish a goal and accomplish your contract. You can dress up in disguise as anyone and go this route or go that route or go this route or just go in guns blazing. I mean, that's not the preferred route because you're an assassin and it's in your best interest to remain incognito, but there's so many different ways to tackle each mission, and especially in the world of assassinations, I've not played any of those, but I've seen some people do those, and just the multiple different ways you can go about it, and is really, it's completely your freedom, and it's really nice. And even in Hitman Blood Money, which is the one I have the most experience with, I played a gazillion times for all the achievements. There's so many different routes and paths you can take to go through all the different missions, and once you find a good one that really appeals to you and works for you the best, you kind of stick to that route. But it always opens that opportunity up to try to plant a detonator here, or just headshot this guy here, or strangle this guy with a fiber wire here, then hide the body, take his disguise, and go from there. And yeah, it's really fun. These games have always been really fun. I need to play more of them, and just like you, maybe this will get me back into the older ones, because what they did with contracts was originally what they are doing here. They basically fixed a lot of quality of life improvements for the first 2 games, and then like basically took the best of the levels from the 2 games and called it Hitman Contracts. And so they're like redoing that here in 2027. So just really weird. Anyways, we're going to move on to our next game, and this is our second to last one. And, well, we're getting to the end of our games block, and we had to play something even more cutesy than we've seen before. And, well, this was part of the, I believe this was part of the, this was part of the Nintendo Direct that just took place last week. And I couldn't pass up the opportunity to play this here on the podcast. This is Hello Kitty Party Land. Let's take a look.
Everyone's welcome to join the fun. Let's party with friends. Hello Kitty Party Land. Welcome to Partyland, where you can play with Sanrio characters. Create your own cute avatar and meet everyone. Hello. Includes over 45 mini-games and board games. Play mini-games with Hello Kitty, Kuretama, Kiki and Lala, Pom Pom Purin, and more. In the board game, everyone progresses together through a fun game of life. Collect flowers, take part in events. Maybe a familiar face is waiting for you. And there's even more fun waiting for you. Gather your friends and family and let the party begin! Hello Kitty Partyland will be available on October 29th, 2026.
Well, at least it's not going to be September like everything else. So you got that going for you. One thing that I was watching this, I was like, "Ooh, that's." I mean, I get the cutesy anime aesthetic of it, but seeing the yellow yolk of the egg is like this creature in the middle. I was like, "What?" I get what they're going for with the anime cutesy thing with like that, but I don't know. There's something about that stood out. I was like, "Ugh, okay, well." I guess no one is like thinking that far deep into it to think about what that is implying. Like it's like a, a chicken in the egg, it's got cracked. I don't know. Maybe that's just the farm life coming out on me, but on it, and I'm thinking way too much than most people do. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun little party game, kind of like a Mario Party kind of game. Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 released October 29th, right before Halloween. Man, what a great game to prepare yourself for Halloween 2026 and Hello Kitty Party Land. That just screams Halloween to me, with all your friends. Upcoming party game featuring over 45 games with Sanrio characters. And again, this will be on Switch 1 and 2. Looks like just if you're a fan of Hello Kitty and you got a bunch of friends together, you just want to play some party games, this looks like it's going to be right up your alley. Even if you're not a fan of Hello Kitty, this seems like it would be a fun time if you and your boys are open to anything like the Croakitoad community is. Looks like there's basically an endless supply of different kind of bonus games, mini games you can play here, where it'll never get tired or old. And there's always something new here. I would definitely give this a try, honestly. Like, I know the big joke is Hello Kitty, thanks in part to South Park, but there's a few Hello Kitty games out there that I will play and I need to play, and this might be one of them as soon as I get a Switch 2, even though I know this comes out on Switch. I do need to get a Switch 2 regardless. But yeah, is this something that you think that you'll be playing on October 29th, just a few days before Halloween there, Raji?
Oh, brother. It's just screams Mario Party at me. I'll play it. I don't care. I love the mini games. I love the board game style. I'm not gonna lie. When I had full transparency, I had to go run the bathroom, and I came back and I heard you talk about chicken and an egg, and I thought we were talking about a completely different game that I don't even know if we've touched on this podcast before. But I thought that was what we were talking about, and I started getting myself ready to talk about it, and I was like, "Oh, this is Hello Kitty, not a chicken, not an egg game. My bad."
Well, what's the title of the game you thought we were talking about?
I believe this was also revealed at Summer Game Fest. It was called an extremely hard game.
Oh yeah.
It's a co-op game about carrying an egg. So I thought that was what we were talking about when I came back. I was like, oh yeah, I know this game.
Nope, that is not. I was talking about how like just weird to me that right there.
Oh
That-
yeah, okay,
that how like creepy that is actually.
yeah, I got you.
Because of what it implies. It's like the baby chick in the egg, and you're sitting there jabbing it with sushi forks. I know that's not the intention. I know it's supposed to be anime and cutesy and all that, but I guess that's just the farm life coming out in me. So I'm just reading too much into it. But Grem, what do you think about Hello Kitty Party Land coming out October 29th?
It looks really cute. It's funny that it comes out literally before Halloween. But some people might find this cute to be really scary. So maybe that's something. I like the mini games. I think that's kind of neat. Listening to the trailer, it sounded like during the board game mode, you're not going against each other. You're teaming up to finish rather than kind of going one-on-one. I could have heard that wrong, but if that's the case, that is a different spin on a game like that, where usually you're going head to head and you want to be number one, rather than it just being like, hey, we're all kind of just trying to finish this together, and then whoever has the highest score, technically wins, but we all win kind of deal. I think it's a different. If that's the case, it's definitely a different spin on this type of a game, where you're not competing against everyone. Like, we're all going to the same goal. Something like this, obviously, though, would be something that I would play. It looks like it's for the Switch and the Switch 2, so something that you can play, Tad. Look at that.
Yep. But again, I need to get a Switch 2 for other reasons as well. So this is definitely on that list eventually. We will definitely give this a shot on Croakitoad. I'm not against playing a Hello Kitty game, that's for sure.
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, we have one more game to talk about here in our gaming block for this week. This one is a new trailer through IGN. It was actually literally just posted 19 hours ago. So we're back to more recent times here. This one is called My Cannibal Family. And I have not seen this trailer yet. We're going to take a look here and see what it's about.
Did you hear the mob dumped one of their own in this goo?
Not just that. I heard a flesh-eating creature crawled out of it.
Huh?
Oh my God. So that's called My Cannibal Family. And I didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, now I kind of get the pictures being painted to me now here. Coming out on Steam, PS5, Xbox Series X, and will be available on Xbox on PC and xCloud. Looks like it will be 4-player co-op as well. Yes, it will. Co-op multiplayer, 4 players. Build a twisted theme park, then use traps and stealthy attacks to harvest guests within a deadly sandbox of your own creation. So basically what you're doing here is you're building your own custom theme park, and you're just putting traps in there to lure in people to come to your park, and then you're killing them off just basically through snapping their necks, shooting them with guns, or doing like trap doors with spikes or what have you. Multiple ways to kill the random NPCs that come to visit the poor innocent people that are coming to visit your carnival, and you just are there to lure them in there and kill them and use their bodily fluids to feed your cannibal family and your evil twisted little creepy little baby in the bathtub as well. That's part of your family. This is like straight out of a freaking Rob Zombie horror movie, I'm telling you. I do like the graphic style of this, though. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I like the 4-player aspect of this as well. I can see the combat there. I guess if you get caught or someone gets out or calls the cops or something, the cops will arrive and try to start taking you all down. Which is, if that's how that works, that's pretty cool that it's got like that more realistic, or if you get caught, the cops get called kind of deal. Yeah, I'm assuming it's just, you're just trying to keep doing this over and over until you get caught and build the biggest amusement park you can build, which draws in even more people. And working together with 3 other players, you can really, one person can be, or 2 people can work on building stuff. The other 2 people can work on either the traps or actually going out and killing the random people without anyone else seeing it go down. And yeah, that's very interesting and twist on a video game. I don't think I've quite ever seen anything like this before, but this trailer was literally dropped yesterday and it'll be available on all platforms. And yeah, this is a very, very, very twisted and very much like it would be like from a script from a Rob Zombie movie for sure. Raji, what are your thoughts on My Cannibal Family right here? Might be muted again.
Gosh dang it. All right. Listen. Discord hates me. Theme park building, co-op, dark, twisted, shut up, Grim. Definitely something I would try out while also telling Grim to shut up. Yeah, I already just requested to play the playtest, so.
Oh, nice. Okay. Is there I guess there is no official release date. It just says 2027 as of now. But it looks like it's
and we can skip Grim because he doesn't like these games, so don't even talk to him.
Wow, skip me? No,
he likes he's gonna like the octopus with the cowboy hat at the carnival.
Yes, I mean, look how it's smiling, just like happy.
That's probably the only part he's gonna like, but yeah.
Well, no, I actually think this is kind of fun because, like I was talking about with the Hitman series being strategic and everything, this is kind of the same thing, except you're, obviously with co-op. The traps look really, really fun to try to lure. I was thinking, what's funny with that octopus too? I was thinking of the movie Nope, where it was the rodeo thing, and just on how goofy that was with like the balloon that finally. It's not spoilers. Hopefully, it's not. If you've never seen the movie Nope, don't worry about it. But like it used that balloon kind of deal. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent here. I actually did also.
I'm not actually watching that. Thanks. No, I'm not going to.
You're welcome, by the way.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, it was not a very good movie. Anyways, I do like the just the strategic placing of things where like the traps, like I was alluding to, and you do have some first person shooting, and I think it looks goofily fun and scary at the same time. I'm definitely intrigued on this one too. I did also request the access too while it was playing. I was like, oh man, I have to. Like, this looks super fun. This is definitely a game for our community for sure.
And 2 things to end on note on this is, number 1, we're looking at the baby in the bathtub right now while we record this podcast. And I swear to you, if I sent this picture over to Coke, he would have a lot of things to work with here on this still frame right here. And the other thing is that while I was watching this, I think it's just the amusement park aesthetic in itself and really nothing else. But it really reminded me of how like Killer Clowns from Outer Space came out. We played it like 2 nights and then it just kind of faded away.
Yeah, it's still around, but yeah, I was thinking that too, like Killer Clowns.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this. They both requested the play test. I might do it as well. And if we have any updates on the game, we'll report back here on the podcast, let you know how my Cannibal Family goes. And, it's a 4-player games, and I'm a sucker for 4-player games. Those are like some of my favorites I like to do. So this might eventually hit the list next year in 2027 when it's released. All right. Well, that will conclude our video gaming block. We have one movie that we're going to check out. And this one is a movie that kind of took over the horror genre this year in 2026. This is a movie from Blumhouse that came out, and basically it just like took over. Anyone that has an opinion on Obsession has said that it's like the best horror movie that has come out in like the past 10, 15 years, bar none. And I know the basic premise of it, but I won't get into it. We'll play the trailer here real quick, and then we'll get into the synopsis. But it has been out. It's been out for an entire month now. So I'm interested to see what the box office has done with this, and if the numbers and the profit has agreed with all the critics what they've been saying about this being like one of the best horror movies in over 10 years. So we'll check we'll check on that while the trailer is playing here.
Have you ever actually like flirted with Nikki?
I'm gonna go get some shots.
I'll come with you if she means this much to you. And I know she does. To say, Nikki, I think we should grab a drink sometime.
Nikki, wait. I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought.
Hi.
Good night. What else?
Why?
One wish, Willow. You only get one wish. I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
I love you so much. A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
It's weird how you two are dating all of a sudden. Like, super dating.
I think Nikki is going through something.
Like what? Is she okay?
No.
Jeez, what kind of spells you put on her?
Nikki? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you! I was calling to see if there's a way I can cancel a wish. I'm sorry, we don't really do that. So she's just stuck like this forever? Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you live. As long as I live?
Well, there you go. So the brief synopsis of the movie is everything that hits to us as guys growing up, where, if we're appealed to the opposite sex, there's always some lady that comes into our life where we're like, man, we're just completely infatuated with them. We would love to, make the move, but we just can't work up the courage to do so. And this particular guy in the movie finds this wishing willow stick. He snaps it, makes a wish that this girl that he's like super into loves him more than he could have probably worded that a little differently. But then it just turns haywire. She gets completely over obsessive with him. The key name of the title of the movie there. And I guess it just gets really crazy from there and escalates. I could definitely see a lot of people, guys out there, they're like, okay, I don't see anything wrong with this. This is completely fine. Put me in that spot. I'm good. Really, I'm good. Yeah, I like the crazy. But I don't know. I guess it gets a little bit off the deep end. I'm seeing some blood and stuff towards the end of the trailer. So I don't know what exactly entails. Obviously, the trailer's not going to spoil everything. And if any of you out there have seen the movie, just please drop your comments or your feedback. Is this, in fact, the scariest movie that has come out in over 10 years, like all the critics are saying? They are literally just like putting this on a pedestal, this obsession movie from Blumhouse, which has a lot of hits and a lot of misses, by the way, coming from Blumhouse. So it's really surprising that this one is being so highly regarded as that movie there. I still need to see this. It's a shame I haven't. Like I said, it's been out for a month already in the theater. I might actually find a time to go see this week, actually, just to be able to see it. But yeah, like I said, all of us as guys has been there where we're into this lady and we just haven't worked up the courage to do it. And this is like takes it all the way off to the deep end, clear on the other side, where they're just completely obsessed with you. Raji, what are your thoughts on this movie from just for looking at the trailer at this? Does it seem like this would Warner like the scariest movie in the past 10, 15 years and get all the hype that it's gotten?
I'm getting a very big psychological feel out of this. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of jump scares. I think it's just more mind twisty and just messes with your mind and make you think a lot, just from what I'm getting, and maybe a little supernatural in there too. But apparently, I mean, it's been a success. It only cost Blumhouse $750,000 to make this movie, and they so far they've grossed $286.5 million. So obviously, it's doing something right. I haven't got to see it. I didn't even know this. I thought this was a movie about to come out. I didn't know this came out back in May. So, it's only 109 minutes long, which is weird because usually horror movies run at least 2 hours or more. So that's weird. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's good. I'll have to get a chance to watch it, and report back if I survive.
Okay. Grem, we know you are once again the bastion of everything that is horror and scary in the world. Does this look like something that you would, just looking at the trailer, would bill as probably the scariest movie that you would probably ever go see?
I personally, yeah, I know. Personally, no. I can see what the fear can be when you wish for something and you don't think it through. And we've seen movies that are like that, or in shows and everything. You have, like you had said earlier, you have to be careful with what your wording is. And heck, we've even seen videos of like, what if I wished for, and then they're like, yeah, but this will happen kind of deal. So it is a unique spin on just not being careful with your words. I know with my wife specifically, all I had to do was just ask her a question and just come up with some stupid, corny, punny thing, and it worked out pretty well for us. So, like I said earlier, I don't know, because people would want someone to be with them and be around them, but there are times too where you would like your own like peace and quiet, for most guys, and they don't want to handle that obsession if anything, as the wording is correct on that. So I don't know. I don't think I would see this movie myself personally. It's not one that, again, horror and scary is not my cup of tea. But I did like that ending part where they can't take it back and it'll be like this for as long as you live, and it just that final sentence, and it was just like quiet at that point, almost made you realize like, oh dang, so it's either this or you have to find a way to break that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the scariest movie of all time. Like, I'm also going by with, the old time Freddy and Mike Meyer ones that were kind of scary back in the day with me. I hold those at a really high pedestal compared to like what has been done nowadays in terms of scary movies and everything. But yeah, I think I will pass on this one. But like you had said, I mean, if anyone has seen this, they could, say in the comments basically, and if they thought it was the scariest movie that has ever been made ever in the world.
And by scary, I should probably just like clarify my wording a little bit, just like this guy in the movie should have done. Basically, like horror, not so much like the scariest. Well, I guess horror does kind of mean scary, right? I mean,
Yes.
okay, so never mind. I'll stand on that hill when I just seen people say like this is like the best horror movie in the past 15 years. Well, that would translate into it being the best scary movie in the past 15 years because horror and scary are the same. They're just different levels and different types of it. But two things I wanted to end on here on the obsession thing. From some of the critics I have watched, everyone collectively has agreed that the main actress, who is like 95% of the film, Ende Neverett, I'm probably butchered her name, but they all collectively agree that she just did phenomenal acting in this, from being like the normal version to the obsession version. And everyone has collectively agreed that she has done a fantastic job portraying this character in this movie. And the second thing I want to end off here is, am I the only one out there that, whether it's a magic genie lamp or a one wish willow or the Wishmaster, which is another horror franchise, where you get a wish, am I the only one out there that just the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, I get one wish or I get three wishes. Okay, wish number one, I want an infinite amount of wishes. Boom, mic drop. Am I the only one out there that ever thinks that?
I believe in Aladdin. Genie specifically said you cannot wish for more wishes.
Does he say that?
I believe so. I think that's just one of those things where you're when they tell you got one wish and no, you cannot wish for more wishes.
Well, but at the same time, too, maybe different genies have different rules. So, I mean, it'd be worth a shot to try, you know?
But then you think about the consequences. Like, you can have unlimited wishes, but then you get to deal with my annoying ass every day. Do you really want that? Like,
well, if you get to be too much, then I wish you away. If I miss you, then I wish you back.
But then, like, you don't get unlimited wishes if you wish them away, right?
Well, I thought we were still going under the storyline that you get infinite amount of wishes here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you wish them away, there goes your infinite wishes.
Oh, you mean you are the genie? Oh no! If I got infinite amount of wishes, even if the genie is Roxas, I can deal with that.
Well, hold on. We've gone off a way too much tangent here on people being genies now. This is kind of,
we're off in the weeds.
I think we're making our own horror movie now.
We're deep. We're deep in the magic genie bottle right now. But this is what happens when you talk about what everyone wants, and that is a wish for anything. And mine not reading the terms of service agreements would be an infinite amount of wishes.
Hey, Blumhouse, if you're listening to this podcast by chance, hit us up. We got great ideas for horror movies.
Yes, we know a guy. His name is Roxas, and he's not from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my god!
He can be the next horror movie villain. We got you. All right. Well, that is Obsession. It came out May 15th. I need to go check this out. I will go check this out. I want to see if the movie is worth the all the hype that it's garnered. And then I will report back here on the podcast my discoveries on this. But yeah, that will wrap up our gaming and movie block. We are now full-fledged into sports now. And for that, we will talk about first up I believe the UFL and also the NHL. And for that, I will pass it over to Grem.
Yeah, so last night or Saturday, the UFL finished up their season, and it was the Louisville Kings taking on the DC Defenders. The Louisville Kings is their first full season, and they started out the season 0-3, and they were actually the winners of this game. They won 27-20. At halftime, it was a 16-7 game in favor of the DC Defenders, but Louisville comes back and scoring 14 in the fourth. The DC Defenders also hit a 4-point field goal. They have a rule where I believe if it's 60 yards or more for a field goal, it is considered a 4-point, not a 3-point. So it was kind of also unique to see that, especially in their championship game. another interesting part of it too, it was at the stadium that the DC Defenders have been playing all season long. So even though they were considered the away team, they were still playing at home. So congratulations to the Louisville Kings on a very, very successful first season. Speaking from experience, Louisville desperately would love to have a sports team, like a professional sports team. It's more of a college, town basically, but to have them in their first season do this, very, very amazing for them. Congratulations. And there may or may not be a parade. I don't know, but that would be kind of neat, a championship parade. And again, we'll see. The UFL is kind of like not, I wouldn't say a development league, but it gives players like a second chance. One of them in particular that plays for the Louisville Kings is Ian Wheeler, running back, and James Robinson as well. Both were NFL running backs, I think with Chicago and Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. And for them to kind of play football again, kind of shine, and potentially get a second pair of eyes on maybe getting back into the NFL. That's what I like about that league, particularly, is it gives them a second chance to potentially show these scouts that, hey, you were wrong to let me go or not re-sign me. So yeah, congratulations to the Louisville Kings. And then for hockey, we are now.
Hold on, let me do a quick point, real quick, because I just a quick point.
Sure.
I haven't seen UFL, but I did notice that this was their third time playing each other in the season, and Louisville has beaten DC all 3 times now.
Yeah, and it's not easy to beat a team 3 times in a row. Then that's actually what ended up happening with DC and Orlando. They played each other 3 weeks in a row, and Orlando won the first 2, and then in the playoffs, the DC Defenders won, which obviously counts more because they were able to move on. And okay, so then NHL, we only had 1 game in between from the last podcast, and that was Game 5. Hurricanes won 4-2. They have a 3-2 series lead with Game 6 tonight. So there is a Game 6, but we'll touch more on that later. Carolina still scoring 4 goals or more in this series, and they have been the better team. I feel like Vegas, again, they look so dominant against Colorado, but I feel like this series should have been over by now because of how Carolina has been playing. We'll be in Vegas tonight for the Golden Knights, and again, they're looking for their second Stanley Cup. If they can get it to a Game 7, which, by the way, if this goes to a Game 7, must watch. By the way, it will be physical. The series hasn't been as physical, but it is going to be physical for a Game 7 for sure. It's like all bets are off. Carolina, again, I feel like is just the better team, but they were also asked. They asked the Vegas Golden Knights coach whether or not they would change goalies, and he kind of laughed and was like, no, kind of deal. So it's going to be the same goalie that started all of these games so far, and I believe it's Hart. I don't know what you do in that situation. I mean, your back is against the wall. I guess it's pretty much, you already put your chips in here and let them fall where they may. I don't know if I agree with it, but I think his name is John Tortorella, the head coach for the Vegas Golden Knights. Very, very controversial coach at times. Very, very outspoken, very loud, and a very good coach. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know. I think you made the change. I think you should have made the change in Game 5 just to kind of give yourselves a different look. Because right now your back's against the wall. It's 1 loss and you're done. So, but Game 6 tonight for Carolina and the Vegas Golden Knights.
All righty. Moving over to NASCAR now. We had a race earlier today, Pocono, and Denny Hamlin comes in first place, just like he did last weekend up in Michigan. So he is really climbing up those leaderboards, trying to catch Tyler Reddick. But he came in first. Tyler Reddick coming in second. That'll also help his scoring as well. Not like he really needs it. William Byram third. Nemechek fourth. Kyle Larson fifth. Eric Jones sixth. Chris Boucher seven. Ross Chastain eight. Ty Gibbs nine. And Ryan Blaney is your top 10 for Pocono earlier today as of the recording of this podcast. And your official standings are Tyler Reddick still currently number one. Denny Hamlin now up at number 2, Ryan Blaney 3, Chase Elliott 4, Ty Gibbs 5. That's your top 5 for the Cup Series right now. And what do we have? Oh, we have what do we have next week? Actually, as I send it over to Raji.
Next week is the inaugural race. I don't know if they'll do it anymore after this year, but it is the Naval Base Coronado race, the Enduro 250 in San Diego, California. It's 255 miles, 75 laps.
Okay. They're not like actually racing on like this is a joke, but they're not like actually racing on like an aircraft carrier. It's a joke. It's a joke.
There is if you're interested in getting an idea of what the track is, NASCAR did release a video of a first look of the track through iRacing, and I will say that it does look like it might be a very interesting road course race. So yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be on Amazon Prime at 4 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. Also, one thing to touch on before we move on: Denny Hamlin today was his third straight victory. He has also gotten this was also his third straight pole, and he joins the list of drivers to ever win 3 straight times while having pole position, joining Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Allison, and Richard Petty.
Oh, that's right. He did win Nashville 3 weeks ago.
Yep, he had the pole for Nashville, Michigan, and Pocono, and won all 3.
Dang. Okay. All right, Grem, I hear you have something to add to the NASCAR this week.
Yeah, I feel kind of terrible that I did not see this sooner. But apparently on June 5th, NASCAR Hall of Famer Ned Jarrett passed away at 93. He, for me, like growing up with NASCAR, he was one of the voices that I heard almost every week. Father to Dale Jarrett, just a fierce competitor, basically. But like I said, I remember him mostly for being on like the CBS and even ESPN broadcasts. Really, really insightful voice. Had a voice that you recognized and you knew it was him. For him to pass away at 93 is, I mean, it's crazy, and I'm sorry that we missed this on the last podcast because we really didn't talk much about NASCAR. But I know after what had happened with Kyle Busch and everything like that, it just is another sad moment for NASCAR to lose someone else from the NASCAR family, let alone a voice of NASCAR as well.
And Ned Jarrett got the blessed opportunity to be in the announcer booth to call his son winning the 1993 and 1996 Daytona 500.
Can I just point out real quick on the standings here? I'm looking at laps led. Look how many laps led Denny Hamlin has compared to everybody else in the top 14.
Yeah,
that is insane.
That is actually from his earlier races. There was plenty of races early on in the season where he was dominating. Even races that Todd Reddick won that Denny Hamlin was sure to win, and then just something happens, and then that's how Todd Reddick has won. He has always been in the right place, right time. And it seems like instead of having 5 wins for Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin should have a few of those away from Tyler Reddick. But just circumstances, and that's what happens. That's racing, baby.
Good Lord. Nobody, I'm even going all the way down to the first 30. Nobody even comes close to the 824 laps led of Denny Hamlin so far.
Yeah, he's 1 win away from tying Tyler Reddick, and he's only 19 points behind Tyler Reddick. And then Ryan Blaney, who's in third, is a whopping 165 points behind the leader.
Yeah, he's quickly grown on him there. I remember a few podcasts ago, Tyler Reddick was like, eat my dust, everybody else. But Denny Hamlin is coming right up on him. Wow. All right, well, that's our NASCAR. We'll continue to take a look, and including that inaugural race that's going to be taking place in San Diego, I believe,
Yes, Naval Base Coronado.
We will report back on that next week on the podcast. All right, moving over to something that we have never talked about here on the podcast. Just kind of a brief overview here. The FIFA World Cup has officially started, and we have all the standings here. There's still a million teams to talk about here and all their different groups and everything. I know a lot of people were excited to see the USA get the win as to start things off. But of course, I'm going to be biased because I live in the USA. But a lot of people seem to be excited that the FIFA World Cup has begun. You got Mexico and Korea with some wins there in their grouping. Scotland with a big win. I know Mama Buttons was excited and talking about that. Getting a win there for Scotland. We have Australia in Group D with the U.S. getting a win so far. Germany has a win in their grouping. And that is all we have so far. I'm sure more games are to come throughout the FIFA World Cup, but that is currently your standings. And I'll pass it over to Raji or Graham if they have anything else they'd like to add.
Yeah, I zoned out because I was looking at something. I don't know if you touched on this, but there, for the first time in World Cup history, there is a group. I believe it's group. Is it Group B? Yes, Group B. There's never been a group in history to all 4 teams draw their first match. An entire group draw their first match. And Group B did just that. Switzerland, Canada, Qatar, and Bosnia, and I cannot pronounce that last part of that country name. They all drew their first match. And I think it was Canada played Bosnia and Switzerland played Qatar. And both matches came out as a draw. So never happened before in World Cup history. There has been several teams from groups that has drawn, but there's never been a full group to draw their first match. And so I thought that was cool. Also, a side note, this event has not been kind to the United States. Last time we were anywhere near the trophy was 1994 when we actually, I believe, I think we won. No, we did not win. No, we were not even in the championship. Sorry, it was 1930. We were in the 3rd place matchup against Yugoslavia. That was the only time we have came close to the trophy. 1994, we hosted the World Cup. That's correct. So this event has not been kind to the United States at all. For the men's side, women's side, different story. Men's side, not so much.
Well, here's hoping we can bust through Australia, Turkey, and Paraguay and make it through the next. We'll keep an eye on that, of course. Grim, did you have anything you want to add to FIFA at all?
No, just go USA.
Okay, go USA, America. All right, well, we'll continue to keep watching and reporting our findings from the FIFA World Cup. For those of you out there that would like for us to deep dive a little bit more into it, let us know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in us covering and checking out. I will be the first to admit I don't ever fully deep dive into the FIFA World Cup. But I will, for the sake of the podcast, if you listeners out there would like for us to get a little bit more hands-on and knowledgeable about the subject, I will definitely do it. Let us know in the comments. All right, we have our next sport to cover here, and it is the end of it because we had the championship match, and, well, I don't really have much to say, so I will send it over to Grem.
Yeah, what he's talking about is the NBA Finals coming to a close last night. The Knicks were able to defeat San Antonio Spurs 4-1 and was it 94-90 victory last night. Jalen Brunson scoring 45 points, the rest of the team scoring 49. What a crazy NBA Finals. And this shouldn't have happened, honestly. It's just funny how this works out because not only this, but a couple of years, I think it was like 2 years ago, the New York Mets had something very similar with like the Grimace from McDonald's coming in, and all of a sudden the team just turned around. There's one purple seat at Citi Field in honor of Grimace because not only did they came back to make the playoffs, but they ended up getting to the National League Championship Series where they faced the Dodgers. They didn't beat the Dodgers, and I believe the Dodgers won the World Series that year. but it was still such a magical thing, and it just seems to happen to like New York all of a sudden. It just something like Danhausen, for example. So, but yeah, it is finally done. The NBA Finals is complete. The New York Knicks, after I think it was 53 years, or was it 50? I think it was 53, not 57, but years. They are on top of the NBA world. We've had 8 different champions now in 8 different years, which is a nice parity. I think that's really good for a league to have that. It shows different teams, rising to the top. I want to say, like, hey, the San Antonio Spurs team, just because they're young, watch out for them. But I don't know, like the body language and everything. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I was actually talking to my roommate about this morning. I would not be surprised if San Antonio fired their head coach, even though they made it to the NBA Finals. I feel like that was a part of it as well, was just the coaching mismatch between the two teams. And then obviously, like, the Thunder are still like the best team, and I know Raji and I were talking about the odds for next year on who could potentially win the NBA Finals next year. But I don't know. The Spurs team, I really thought was going to give more. I really think that Thunder series, though, really took a lot out of them, probably more than they wanted to show. And because obviously you don't want to show any weakness if you're in a championship game. You don't want to show on anything like, oh man, they have my number. And the Knicks should have lost 2 of those games at least. And in this series shouldn't have just gone to 5 games. Like I thought Knicks in 6 is what I said from the beginning. I'm glad it's not going 6, to be honest with you. I'm glad that it only went 5 and that it's over. But watching that game and then watching the ending with the players really showing emotion. They were crying. They were extremely happy, extremely proud of what they did, and rightfully so, really. I'm just blown away, and I'm still kind of in a high, basically, from last night in terms of what they did, what they showed to the league, and finally to say that, yeah, we're champions. And when I was growing up in like the 90s, watching guys like John Starks, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and them just not being able to get that championship, to finally get to see a championship for my team. And I imagine, like it was for you last year, Tad, watching the Thunder win, right? You're just like, man, that feels so good. And it's just crazy. And I still don't 100% believe that it happened, but it did. And it was such a weird and magical run that I don't know if it'll ever happen like that ever again. But I get to, like I said, get to watch it, and I got to experience it. And especially with how I have, my past and what I had to go through and everything, very, very lucky, very blessed to have actually been able to see this happen. So, I kind of wish it was the Thunder too. I think it would have been a lot more fun for the podcast if it was. But I'm just glad that the NBA Finals is over, and New York Knicks are the NBA champions.
Yep, congratulations to the Knicks for winning for the first time in all those many years. So I do give hands some respect as obviously the resident Thunder fan here from the 45 minutes from the arena. I can appreciate that you guys have been waiting a long time to get it again, and as a team that won it last year, that in the state has never won a professional sports championship ever, because we don't really have professional sports team in the state. So the Thunder made so much history here in the state of Oklahoma last year. I can appreciate that you wait so long to get it back in the New York Knicks. But yeah, Raji, what were you going to add?
I was going to say New York Knicks went for the entire year, regular season and postseason, went 6-2 against the Spurs. They went 2-1 during the regular season against the Spurs. However, they went 0-2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who should have been in the spot for the Spurs, and this would have been a totally different conversation.
Probably, yeah. We'd be gearing up for the next game at this rate.
I'm just full.
You know,
Congrats
that
to the
game,
Knicks.
game 6, that isn't going to be around.
Yeah, congrats to the Knicks. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is, I believe, what they say, 52 years in the making.
52, 53, I believe, yeah.
It's somewhere around there. So, I know Knicks fans have longed for it. All the fans who have stuck with their team for the longest time, I respect. I know you guys are about to get bombarded by a bunch of bandwagon fans. And I'm sure Grim knows all about bandwagon fans. They're the absolute worst kind of fan. To only cheer for a team when they're doing good and wants nothing to do with them when they're doing bad. So all the OG Knicks fans that through the thick and thin, no matter what happens, are a Knicks fan through and through. Respect to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy this for the next year.
All right, and that will be the last we talk about NBA in terms of games for a while here on the podcast. I mean, we may bring up some news here and there, but the season is over. So goodbye, NBA, and congratulations.
We'll see you in 52 weeks.
Yeah, not 83 weeks. All right, one more thing to touch on the New York Knicks real quick is the fact that Danhausen kind of, as we integrate into wrestling, Danhausen has been known to here lately during the latter part of the season and the championship, everything, and show his support for the New York Knicks and everything. And because he did do a bunch of cursing and uncursing and helping the Knicks out in his eyes, because we all live in Danhausen's world, we just don't realize it. He now that they won, he has apparently demanded from them a statue, a mural, and a photo of him on the side of Times Square and Madison Square Garden for helping New York Knicks win the NBA championship. Raji, do you think that they will actually come through and deliver these demands to Danhausen?
You know what? I think so. I think so. I think they owe a lot to Danhausen. Yeah, this whole run, I think, needs a lot attributed to Danhausen. You can believe or not believe, cursing, uncursing, all you want, but the games speak for themselves. I'm just saying, something happened, and I think it was Danhausen.
And Graham, you're the Knicks fan here. What do you think Danhausen helped?
Yes, I touched on it before with the Grimace and the New York Mets kind of deal. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of outside interference to really kind of make a team maybe just not think so hard and just relax and have fun with something like that. And if Danhausen wants me to do it personally, to make him a statue and all that, then I mean, I'll just tell my boss, hey, I'll be gone for a little bit, but I have to do what I have to do because somebody did what they had to do in order for us to win this championship. So yes, I'm hands down do whatever he wants on that.
So you think the New York Knicks will give him a statue, a mural, and a photo of him on the side of Times Square and Madison Square Garden?
They should, yes.
It will be in New Yorkhausen. All right, well, there you go, Danhausen. If you ever listen to this, we agree with you. Speaking of Danhausen, we're going to move over to more Danhausen news. And this was a video that was posted a few days ago from SmackDown. And it kind of follows up the whole thing that we were just talking about with the New York Knicks. And we'll watch this clip here of Danhausen on WWE SmackDown. I believe from the June 12th, if I have my date correct there, episode of SmackDown. Let's take a look.
For you, man. Hey, listen, you have to re-curse the Knicks.
I don't think so.
No, please. We put a lot of money on the Spurs, and if they win tomorrow, we're getting a huge payout.
Why would I care? Hey, what's this? Wow, human money.
Hey, amigo, there's a bonus.
Oh, yeah?
Consider Mexico national team, okay?
Yeah, okay. I'm not doing that. I'll keep your money.
Hey, Danhausen.
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Listen, it's Matt, and listen, you gotta keep the Knicks uncursed, okay? Don't listen to
I agree. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I do need some human money for that.
I don't actually have any money with me.
That's a nice watch.
The watch?
Yeah.
You know what? Anything for the Knicks. Let's do it.
That's right.
Let's do it. For the Knicks, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Give me that ring, too.
Danhausen!
Wow.
And you can get your chiseled jaw out of here.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
I've been gone 2 weeks, and look what you've done to the Miz.
Well, I think he looks pretty cool.
No, he doesn't. Ever since you electrocuted him, he's stuck saying his own catchphrase.
Jealous.
His catchphrase, look at him!
Yeah, 2010, that's pretty good.
Reverse it. Reverse it now.
No, let me try something. Hey, The Miz, what do you think of Danhausen today?
Awesome! No, he's not awesome! He's not! Stop this!
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Miz, zone in. Zone in.
Master, inspire.
That's the wrong one!
in.
Reverse this! Stop this now!
I like him. I think he's great.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Toxic!
Really?
Toxic!
Yes. Okay, see you later.
Awesome!
Okay, great. So they're both going to be electrocuted and screaming out weird catchphrases. We had a lot to unpack there on that segment from Danhausen. You had Los Garzas tried to bribe the Spurs to win, which didn't happen. You have Matt Cardona, Matt, not Zach Cardona in there trying to do it the other way around. Then you got Kit Wilson with Miz with the whole, what do you call that? The weird science haircut or whatever going on doing his catchphrases. Man, there's a lot to unpack here, but I'm actually surprised that they have deep dived this much into the whole NBA thing, because as an old school wrestling fan, obviously you'd come out with the heels, cutting the hometown promo on the local sports team, getting the heel heat and whatever, or someone would come out with a jersey or something to get a rise out of the crowd. But you never really had someone come out and like put an emphasis on like the championship or this game. You'd get like the heel heat promos and stuff is just kind of like that. But it seems like they've really like, yeah, the NBA, all this. And so I'm really interested that they chose this time of all the times to really do this. Do you think this is more of a Danhausen thing? Is he really that much of a Knicks fan in real life, or has WWE started to realize, we're part of the TKO family, we're like a brother corporation with UFC now, and we're really tight with ESPN right now, so maybe we need to start mentioning these other sports more frequently on our shows now, and that was part of it. What are your thoughts on that, Raji, and the segment as a whole?
I want to touch on the segment. Can we go to the very end? Because I about lost my stuff when that spark came out of his butt. Oh, I about died laughing. Where did it originate from? It had to have been his butt. I don't know where else it could have came from.
You can see him clicking something there.
Okay, it came out of his pocket, I believe.
Look at his hand.
Yeah, in his pocket.
See?
Yeah.
Click.
Oh, no.
Right, oh, wow. It came right out of his...
That's kind of close to the manuals there.
Oh. Yeah, so that was hilarious. But I don't think they'd be. Honestly, I don't think they'd be mentioning the Knicks like they are right now if the series didn't go the way it did. I honestly believe that. I think just whenever the Knicks started going on a run, I think this started back in the Atlanta series, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this whole thing with Danhausen started the Atlanta series, and they really focused it on the Cleveland series because of the Miz. But if the Knicks wasn't doing going the way they did this postseason, I don't think we would be getting these Knicks and Spurs references. I don't think they'd be focusing on any other sport. I think the storyline would have taken a different direction. The conversations would have been changed from focusing on something other than the basketball teams. I just think it's the result of the series, and with the partnership with ESPN, it helps them give them more story and more news lines for ESPN, as well as get a storyline going for creative and WWE. So it's win-win. But yeah, I think we wouldn't be having this conversation if the Knicks turned out to go a different direction.
You could argue that sports has always been kind of hand in hand in professional wrestling. I mean, we can remember all the times during the Attitude Era, or even before then, where they'd have like
before that.
They'd have like, oh, here's the couple players. WCW really did it. Here's a couple of linemen from the Chicago Bears here in the Allstate Arena or whatever. Or here's they even had Kevin Green come out there as a wrestler, and
So there's always been sports hand in hand with wrestling, but it seems like, I don't know, just something about this feels different than all of that. Like it's been like an emphasis on the Knicks with the whole Danhausen thing.
Throwback, April 2nd, 1995, WrestleMania 11. We all know the main event.
Oh,
we all know that.
yeah.
We all remember that main event. I think
that is true.
That was, looking back at it today, you would be like, that was the main event, but it was big back then. Like, I think that was around the first time wrestling was really trying to bring the sports world into their world, and to have that happen in the main event, I think that set precedent going forward into the future to today, of involving different sports. I mean, I think
don't
Grem,
forget,
I don't remember.
Don't forget, I believe it was WrestleMania 2 where they had the WWF and NFL Battle Royal. Refrigerator Perry, I think, was in that.
Yeah. Grim, I don't remember how long ago it was. I'm sure you remember Jalen Brunson was on SmackDown and jumped the barricade and was in a segment. I don't know how long ago that was, but I mean, it's just been a constant moving, revolving door for sports and wrestling that I think it's starting to be not as taboo as it used to be.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, last year in like the 2K25 game, you had Jalen Brunson actually a playable character in the, in the game as a wrestler. So I think it's now a matter of, instead of it being like the heel heat, like you were alluding to before, Tad, it's more or less kind of embracing and actually putting a positive spin. And in turn, these major sports like baseball, basketball can help WWE as well, whether it's like, hey, first pitch or announcing at a game or something like that, bobblehead night for the Miz or something, crazy like that. I think it's now, instead of, hey, we got to do this on our own, it's like, hey, we're part of a team now. We're on ESPN. Like, that is sports. And so we need to branch off to other sports. I mean, heck, CM Punk's a huge hockey guy. Heck, I think he was at one of the Stanley Cup games, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember which game it was, but again, you could easily bleed into that. But obviously, I don't think the NFL needs it as much. The NBA for sure needed more eyes on them in terms of like the series. I'm still amazed that we're paused on this screen, by the way, of Kit Wilson, having almost his crotch blow up, by the way. He's been on this screen now since you guys been talking. It has been hilarious. Getting back, I guess, to the segment though at hand, I love the fact that they threw in, like Los guys, Matt Cardona, showing that, hey, they have personalities and they have interests outside of wrestling too. Kit Wilson, I don't think Kit Wilson has too many catchphrases that they're going to use. But at the same time, I think the Miz, going back to his old stuff and just being like completely drained of life almost, is hilarious. I love it. It's a callback for those wrestling fans that endured the PG era when the Miz kind of came around, and they understand those references. They're not old references. They know what they mean. So kudos, good for them though, on like WWE trying to, instead of being like, oh, we're just gonna do it on our own, we got this, it's all good. Instead, they're embracing the fact that they're part of ESPN, they're part of a sports world, and I look forward to many more. Even though, and you were right, Raji, it was the Atlanta series, and even if the Knicks did lose at that point, you could still spin the story on Danhausen, just be like, well, I didn't get enough human monies. That's not on me, and it still would have worked. It still would have been funny. Everyone would have loved it still, because it's real at that point, and that's what they should be striving for.
All right, well, that will conclude our sports block, and we are now on the tail end of our podcast. We're going to switch over to Croakitoad news, and this one's going to be a bit short because we only had a few days since the last recording, so we're going to jump into this week in Croakitoad, the things that I've been doing throughout the week. And as of, let's see, when was that? That would have been Monday. We had a special Twitch sponsorship stream through Forza Horizon 6. So we jumped on there and played a bunch of Forza 6. That was a lot of fun. First time I really jumped into it. I mean, I think we played Forza 5 for one night back before, and that was basically the end of it. I definitely jumped a lot more into the Forza 6 just because of what's taking place in Japan. And I played with Coke Soda Can. We played with Sean the Show. And it was a lot of fun just racing. It was really fun because there's like a little drag racing strip there. You can switch out your car right there on the fly and activate the drag race and just go drag racing against your friends there and other RNG online random people that are there. So that's what we did on Monday, doing some Forza 6. And then after that, I did 2 more demos that I saw from the Summer Game Fest. One was the 1666 Amsterdam demo, tried that out. And I also did the Onimusha Way of the Sword demo, both of which are up on my YouTube at Croakitoad. You can check out. So after Forza, I did both of those demos. Tuesday, we jumped into some CPW, which we'll get to in just a second. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we did a double dose of Pratfall. The first night, we streamed for 6 hours, and we really tried to make it to the bottom of Pratfall, but just could not do it. I think we tried like 3 or 4 rounds. Most we could do was get to the middle of the ice biome. But then we came back. And this was... let's see, that would have been Friday night. We came back on Friday night, did it again, and we failed the first couple of runs, and then it was very late in the night, and it was just Jen Von Lee and myself left, and we said, let's just do one more run, just the two of us, see how far we get. And boy howdy, wouldn't you know it, we actually did the thing. We actually made it to the bottom, and let me get the official time on that. It was like a little bit over 3 hours, actually. I don't have the exact time here, but it took us a little tiny bit over 3 hours, but we did it in 2-player co-op. We beat Pratfall. We made it to the bottom. We rescued the dog, and we unlocked the cool little cosmetics that you get for beating the game, doing it. And boy, was that a very stressful and very tumultuous, very careful game of Pratfall, because that last biome is a real doozy. And if you've been there before or seen it before, you know what I'm talking about. But man, one wrong move and you've got lava pillars. The worm is still after you. There's barely anything to climb on, by the way. It's like dead space all the way around you in this biome, and you just get like some random rock pillars and plateaus that you have to go down. And so it basically removes the digging aspect out of it almost entirely. So you're basically having to like find the things that you can out of these chests to help yourself guide yourself down and platform downwards without taking too much fall damage. All the while, these little pods are busting out and lava spills everywhere. And if you walk on this lava, you do take slight health damage. And the worm is still there, by the way. And some of these platforms just look utterly impossible to go down. There was many times in this run where I was like, well, this run's over. I don't know how we're going to drop down. But we managed to look very thorough and found a way, just enough of a little bit of a ledge below to be able to platform down and then go from there, hop down from there, and keep us descending lower and lower until you make it to the next plateau area where there's like, you know, lots of items. And I will hand it to the last biome in Pratfall. If you do make it a little bit of a ways down, it's a very short biome, but it's very, very difficult and challenging. But if you make it down a little bit after that, like that first couple of platforms down, they really do reward you with a lot of chests, a lot of res stations, and a lot of items. So that was a good thing about it. I was glad to see that, where it's just not like if you make it down like halfway to the near the end, you're just basically screwed if you haven't like successfully scavenged and collected and kept items. No, it continues to reward you, and there are res stations everywhere. But the lava does make it very, very tough, because the pods will break and just the lava falls everywhere. They do offer these berries. I think they're called splash berries. You can throw them at the lava and it will take the lava out of it and turn it into rock. So that is also good and handy to use, but you can't mine through it if you do that. So while you are removing the lava aspect of it, you are also removing the ability to use your pickaxe on anything that you've thrown a splashberry out that was previously lava. But you can use it to traverse downwards. But yeah, I just feel like the RNG was on our side for sure. We got lucky, and I died one time out of the entire run, so that was really surprising as well. But yeah, we did it. We made it to the bottom, and I remember the final moment of the run. I had a sponge fungus, one of those orange sponge fungus bottle things where you throw down, and you're able to safely land on it without taking fall damage because it's like springy, spongy. So I was at like literally the last platform. I could look down and see just the flat land, like the bottom, the very bottom of the game, the bottom of the game, way down there, but obviously way too far for me to just jump. I would have died. So I threw that sponge bottle thing down there, just prayed to the gods in the heavens above and tiptoed off and landed right on it. And I survived. And I was like, oh yeah, we made it. Then went over and found Jen wherever she was, and I called up to her and said, just jump off. I got you. Even if I don't catch you, I can revive you right here. And she leapt off. I caught her, and we were off to the races. We rescued the dog and beat Pratfall. So that was a really proud moment. Definitely a lot harder than Peak. It took me a lot more tries than Peak did when me and Coke Soda Can beat it for the Peak for the first time. But the sense of accomplishment and being able to show off the cosmetics that you did, in fact, beat the game is really awesome. And the game doesn't end there, by the way. It's kind of like Peak, where each time you beat it, you unlock an even slightly harder challenge. So now that we've beaten it on the base challenge, now it's like base challenge +1 has been unlocked. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go through all of that. I mean, the game is definitely challenging. It's hard enough as it is, but yeah, for anyone actually out there wondering, like, how did you beat that final biome? How did you beat the game? How did you do that? Not only can you check the full run on my YouTube, the video should be up by the time you hear this, but there's a little brief explanation for you for how we defeated Pratfall in that last biome, just the two of us together. And then last night we did a bunch of different demos, a lot of those games that we previously talked about in the gaming block earlier in the podcast. Some of these games I'll just list off here. We did Cozy Game Restoration demo. We did Goblin Vike, The Thief Tycoon. We did Void Fighters and played with the developer Dorgaz. We did Papaya Plaza, and we did Vultures Scavengers of Death demo. And all of those obviously can be found up on my YouTube as well by the time you hear this. So that was a full week of gaming here at Croakitoad. Lots of demos, lots of multiplayer, lots of good times, lots of Forza, Pratfall, all kinds of different stuff. Good week of gaming there. And we gear up towards now Steam Next Fest. So we're going to get even more busy when it comes to indie games coming up around the corner. Well, that being said, we're going to transfer over to the CPW report for this past Tuesday. And we are now gearing up towards the end of Tuesday, which will be Tuesday, June 30th. And that will be Beach Brawl. And I believe that was the event in which RAJI defeated Grem for the World Heavyweight title for the first time in that rematch from the big one. So we are almost 1 year removed from that taking place on the anniversary. But on June 9th, the June 9th episode of CPW Wrestling, which was the 10th episode of Season 3, by the way. Opening match, we saw Burnsy taking on Adam Brown, and Burnsy wins 4.5 match star rating. And the biggest thing coming out of this match was the fact that Patrick Schrader once again made his return. We haven't seen Patrick Schrader in Season 3 yet. The last time we saw him was in Season 2, so it was nice to see Patrick Schrader back out again to support his boy Burnsy on a big win in the opening contest. The second match was a 5-star match rating in a hardcore match. We saw the hardcore champion Jen Von Lee, who was basically on an undefeated streak in Season 3 of CPW, finally take a big one-on-one loss. I was shocked. To Jess Moxie, who is a regular in the hardcore division and is the only person to have won the hardcore title, I believe, 3 times now here in CPW, maybe even 4 times. I'd have to fact check myself on that, but a big impressive win there from Jess Moxie, defeating the current reigning hardcore champion in a singles hardcore match. So maybe it's starting to look like maybe Jess Moxie's back in line to get the next crack at the hardcore title again for the 4th or 5th time. in that 5-star match. The third match of the night saw Mike Metal defeating Ryan Matthews for the Kappa title in a 4-star matchup. And this was with Ryan Matthews having Azarain, Miles Wildmore, and Alessandra at ringside. As usual, the thorn in the side of Mike Metal as of these days. But Ryan Matthews, just like Chain did the season before, was holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase and also the International Championship. This time, Ryan Matthews holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase and the Kappa title. So it seems like we're 2 for 2 on people winning the briefcase and also getting a title at the same time while they're waiting to cash in on that queue for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's kind of cool. But that run has come to an end as Mike Metal wins his first CPW title ever since coming here, and that is the Kappa title. We'll see who his first defender will be this upcoming Tuesday now that he is the person with the Kappa championship as it stands. The next match was a 8-person over-the-top battle royal match, kind of featuring a lot of people that we don't normally regularly see on the show. So it's nice to give a little bit of spotlight to some of the other characters since we have such a large roster, over 100 strong on CPW. But we saw Q Raider getting a big win in the battle royal over Bethany, Honey, Jimbo Aberdeen, Miss Amy, Fifi, Yosh, and Skippy the Scout, who somehow forgot his shorts out in the mountaintops. Hopefully that'll be fixed for next Tuesday. But Q Raider getting a win here in the overtop battle royal and a 4.5 match star rating. Good to see all the cast of characters there. Next match saw Shadow Chrono defeating Maggie Moore in a 4.5 match star rating. And this was a match of Maggie trying to come back after taking a loss to Spike Ryan after beating him twice before. And of course, Shadow Chrono trying to come back and make a statement after losing his international title to Rock Hard Meat a few weeks back. So a match here that both people really desperately needed here, but Shadow Chrono coming away with the win there. The next match was a very interesting one as we had Azarain, Miles Wildmore, and Alessandra teaming up together, the Unholy Union. One of the first times I think I've ever seen all 3 of them together as a trio in a match. We might have seen that one other time, I think, as of now. And they defeated Linky, Aiden Gallagher, and Connie, and that's a trifecta right there, of Triforce trifecta there. 3.5 match star rating, and the miscommunication and just the drama going along with Linky, Connie, and Aiden Gallagher is just like one of the biggest points of CPW right now. Where is this going to go? Where is this going to lead? We thought it was all over last month, but apparently it's still ongoing. Connie is very indecisive in her thoughts towards Aiden Gallagher and Linky, which is just in itself is just absolutely wild. So we'll see how that relationship goes. But taking an L there from the Unholy Union is definitely not going to help the circumstances in that rivalry right now. And then after that, we saw our world heavyweight champion, 2-time world champion, Psycho T, Fuse Force Spence, taking on a local talent, Paragon Jay Pierce, in an Inferno match, 3-star match rating. And basically, Jay Pierce was being fed. His nightmares were being fed to the wolves on this one. Psycho T making short and easy work of Jay Pierce in this Inferno match, making him burn and saying, "Don't come to my nightmare realm ever again while I'm world heavyweight champion." After that, we saw Kitten defeating Buttons in a 1-on-1 ladies match here, 3.5 match star rating. This was the first showing between the two ever recorded. So good match between the two, good showing, but Kitten picks up the win, who is starting to come off strong here in recent matches. Other than her loss of the Kappa title, she's been winning a lot of really good matches here lately and is building up a lot of momentum for herself. After that, we saw Lilu taking on Cirabella, who was managed by Miss Perfection in a 4-star match. This was also another Extreme Rules match featuring 2 ladies in the hardcore division. Of course, Lilu is the more experienced in the hardcore division, as we know, through several seasons. And Cirabella is trying to be the new queen of hardcore in CPW. And just taking another loss here doesn't bode well for her, but she's still new, still a rookie, and under the mentorship of one Miss Perfection, the veteran, she's trying to, work it all out and figure things out with the veteran there and her side. But Lilu coming away with the extreme hardcore win there in that match, 4-star match rating. After that, we saw Zozakin taking down Wizard Boss in a 2-star match. Very short match, very interesting match. I was not expecting the match to end the way it did. Very short, but Zozikin spreading his wings and expanding his horizons out from just the Kappa division out to other people in the landscape of CPW. Now going one-on-one with Wizard Boz here, a former world champion, and he picked up a very quick win here. I believe it was through submission, and Wizard Boz just tapped super quick in this match. I'd like to see this go on more. I think this was more than just a one-off here. I'd like to see Wizard Boz come back and be a little bit more competitive here, which he should have been against Zozikin. But as it stands now, Zozikin has a win over Boz in very short fashion on this night, 2-star match rating. After that, we had a big 4-way tag team match, and you could argue that two of these teams are obviously people that do not get on, and the other two are obviously more experienced teams. But I guess Eric Bischoff just decided to throw everybody in this match and see what the tag team division is going to look like with 4 of these teams, whether they like each other or not. You had Mr. Coke and Roxas, which we all know about that on-again, off-again relationship. We had Grem and Raji teaming up together. Then we had the Titans of Anubis Khan and Welsh Mosher. And then, of course, rounding out, we had the Pooner Rangers, Shamu and Fat Sting. And it was quite the matchup. We had 8 people in the ring, and there were bodies everywhere, inside the ring, outside the ring. We had weapons. We had dancing. We had taunting. We had top rope moves. We had crazy shenanigans going all over. I think there was an opportunity for all 4 of these teams to end up winning at one point or another, which was very suspenseful. It was a 5-star match rating, but at the end of it, it was Mr. Coke and Roxas picking up the win in their on and off again relationship. And after the match was just as much of a story as the match itself, as we, instead of celebrating together, Coke and Roxas ended up getting into another argument despite their win. Literally seconds after winning this big match, they get into a shoving match against one another, and it's just it's just the feud that'll never end, I guess. Coke v. Roxas, despite taking a big win here, getting a big win here, they just can't put their differences aside, and very on again, off again, depending on their moods, how they're going to treat each other. But lots of stories, lots of stuff to unpack in that thing, especially in terms of like the Titans and the Pooner Rangers, and of course Grem and Raji, who are both here on the podcast, which has been an ongoing rivalry. And as I said, the 1-year anniversary is coming up from when Raji beat Grem for the world title for the first time, ending the first ever world heavyweight title reign of Croakitoad Pro Wrestling as well. And then our semi-main event wasn't really quite of a match, as more it was a backstage segment where we saw the international champion Rock Hard Meat coming off of his big win over Wizard Boz, retaining his title, was in backstage, and we finally got the debut of who we kept seeing week after week for the advertisement of coming soon, and it's Grim Weaver showing up for the first time. And he assaults the international champion Rock Hard Meat from behind in the parking lot and takes him down, making a clear statement to Croakitoad Pro Wrestling that Grim Weaver is here and is on the hunt, and he has targeted one of the biggest guys on the entire roster. That is Rock Hard Meat, the international champion. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here when Rock Hard Meat turns his attention to the debuting Grim Weaver, and it'll be fun to see Grim Weaver, another new name and fresh face added to this giant, massive CPW roster for sure. And then our main event was a big match featuring the ladies of CPW, Lucinda and Chalk teaming up together to take on the women's champion Asterial and Celestia in a 2-on-2 cage match. And clearly, right out of the gate, within seconds of the match, Ash basically noped out of the match, climbed out of the cage, and left Celestia on her own and having to deal with Lucinda and Chalk. And then eventually Chalk would escape the cage because of the 2-on-1 odds, which left the match to be like Lucinda versus Celestia for like 80% of the match, which ended up being a really fun and awesome match to end off the show and really showcasing and demonstrating the ladies of CPW at the top of the rankings. Really fun match there, but Lucinda and Chalk pick up the win, 4-star match rating to end off the show as we get one step closer and 1 week closer to Beach Brawl. I can see some feuds and rivalries developing here, even just from these results here from Tuesday, but I'm sure there's going to be way more to come in the next coming weeks as we build up to the next event. But yeah, that is your rundown for the June 9th Croakitoad Pro Wrestling. I'll leave it over to Raji. Do you have anything to add? Was there a match of the night that you had in mind, or does anything stand out to you?
Grim's the worst tag team partner anyone could have. Absolutely who stood there and watched this humongous man, mate, human being, whatever he is, in a Power Ranger suit, absolutely squashed my face. And he just sat there and laughed at me. What kind of partner are you, Greb?
I didn't laugh. I may have chuckled. I may have chuckled a little bit, but I just thought of something really funny at that point in time. You know, like a joke. It wasn't because of you. And, you know, I was only like, you know, doing my job and stuff, bro. But like, if you just want to like lay down and let people sit on you, that's on you. Literally.
I should have retired you when I had the chance.
Nah.
Well, speaking of feuds and rivalries developing, sounds like we got one right here in real time before our very ears here on the podcast with the, again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but it is almost the 1 year anniversary of when Grem established the world title and finally lost it to bring in our second world.
No, please keep bringing it up. Please keep bringing it up.
Yeah, great. We're going to have a celebration in the ring because Raji's going to bring all the cakes and toilets and everything to celebrate his 1 year anniversary. Ooh.
Well,
he ain't talking about cakes you eat.
Well, he had to bring in a rebuttal with 2 T's somewhere after what we did to him last week's podcast. See, I'm just the devil's advocate here. I'm just throwing fuel on the fire and just sitting back and watching this thing burn.
Careful, you might get into it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
make this a triple threat.
Oh, you have to dig me out from wherever Nate left me several months ago.
That's okay. I'm sure he still has a shovel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He always comes prepared with a shovel.
Yep.
All right. Well, that'll do it for our Croakitoad Pro Wrestling Report for this past week. Looking forward to seeing what happens this upcoming Tuesday on June 16th as we get closer to the end of the month. And, of course, the big event at the end, which is Beach Brawl. And then we only have one thing left to do here on the podcast, and that is talk about the Croakitoad Stream Team. And I have actually news about Streamer of the Week, which we'll get to. But I just wanted to real quick give some shout outs to some members of the Croakitoad Gaming Stream Team on Twitch, who I currently see streaming live right now as we do this podcast. We've got Lone Star 82 playing some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We've got our newest member of the Croakitoad Stream Team, Simply Mayhem, streaming right now, doing some The Forest. We've got Coke Soda Can, who was streaming earlier, and he was doing the Medal of Honor Retro Remake, and he was also doing a game demo that just came out today. What was that called? Sin, from Night Dive Studios. I believe it was Sin.
It was Sin. I don't remember the remaining part of it. Nightmare maybe or something?
Sin Reloaded.
Reloaded, that's it.
Sin Reloaded. Coke Soda Can doing some Sin Reloaded. Also some Medal of Honor there while we were streaming. We got Puerto Rican Chipmunk coming in with some Resident Evil. Looks like Revelations 2 she was playing. We got Zozakin currently streaming right now, or was, with some more Solo Archipelago. 20 games! Exclamations. And I am Daniel McGee streaming a little bit there over the weekend here as well. And of course, Chain TV, who is also streaming, doing more of that Iodine 100 Heroes. That is a game that he has been all over. I gotta check that out. But yeah, there's a little bit of a shout out. Sorry we didn't do like the full week of stuff for all you streamers out there, but I do know Lucinda told me that she, in the previous episode of our podcast, that she basically let the viewers obviously decide that she was going to do Watch Dogs, and then from there decided to do the sequel because she basically felt like doing it. And so I just wanted to drop that shout out there for that comment. And let me see, there was something else that was added to that as well. I don't see it here, but yeah, we'll be a little bit more thorough and in depth on the stream team section here for next week, since the last podcast was literally just a few days ago. So, and that leads us to Streamer of the Week, which for this week, for the second time, we are not actually going to do a Streamer of the Week this week. This is the second time we've done this, just because the podcast was so late. In between, I mean, there's only literally been like 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and it feels like anyway, of stuff that has happened since the last time we recorded a podcast. So there won't be a streamer of the week this week, but we will be back to that again next week on the next episode of the podcast. And as well, we don't have a clip of the week either. So yeah, that's just what happens when you have two podcasts really close together. I mean, I guess we could just play the video from last week all over again, but I have to find it. But What that
I'm sure Raji would love to go back to that and experience that again. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, that will conclude our podcast. What is this, episode 15? Episode 15 of Toad Talk Podcast here. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and listening. As always, please drop a like, follow, and subscribe, and add into the comments if you would like for us to converse over any other topics, suggestions, movies, games, sports, whatever. Let us know in the comments. We're always open to feedback. And yeah, make sure to enter that giveaway, which is coming out in 2 weeks, I believe. Star Fox Nintendo Switch 2. This week's special hashtag was hashtag Fox McCloud, I believe. Fox McCloud was
McCloud.
Oh, McCloud. Okay. Hashtag McCloud to enter your next raffle for Star Fox on Nintendo Switch 2. Thanks everybody for listening and watching, and we will be back 7 days from now on the 21st. We will have a full streamer of the week. We will have community. We'll have more games, news, sports to talk about, and we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your week, everybody, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for joining, Grem and Raji.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week, everybody.